What's bragging, guys? Welcome to this FIFA 20 career mode review video where I'll be breaking down the new features along with gameplay in FIFA 20 career mode. So there's obviously been a lot of issues happening with the game itself. If you haven't seen them all on Twitter, this will pretty much sum up a lot of the issues seen on Twitter as well as what I saw, my thoughts from about the 15 hours I spent playing career mode so far. Definitely be adding some hours. I've played quite a bit on stream. If you guys want to check out my stream career mode, definitely check that out. I stream quite a bit, definitely the weekends for sure, and I'll try to stream a bit more during the week also. So the manager customization was a new feature added here. I do enjoy it quite a bit, being able to customize a manager, give him a nice outfit. Always been something I've liked in video games itself, but might not be a big deal to other players of career mode, but I do enjoy it. You can also import faces from player career mode, also from players who are retiring, whether it be an actual real player or a player you created. So that's a nice feature. I'm sure a lot of basically content creators will enjoy it, but I'm sure people who play career mode in general will also have some fun with it also. If you want to be able to have a player like Ronaldo or someone as manager, I think you guys will enjoy that. But customization being added is always a wonderful thing in career modes, in my opinion, which kind of begs the question why it's been taken out in previous years with the basically creation center being gone. You can disable international job offers now, which is a nice little addition. Just something a little small, but it does get annoying, obviously, getting the emails after a while. But a new feature added, of course, is the pre-match as well as post-match press conferences. And honestly, the team morale and player morale itself are new features added as well. So this is pretty much where you manage the morale, honestly, this along with the player chats. And I just think after a while, these conferences get really tedious, and managing morale is really easy if you're playing every game. You don't even have to play every game, honestly. If you play, just every few games, or at least do the pre-match press conference in Sim, if that's I can't remember if that's possible or not, but still, that's very, very kind of simple way to manage the morale. Just basically, here's a draw. The team morale was actually happy before, but content now because we drew. I did answer a question positively, and it's very close to being happy, the team morale. And now brought up Davies' morale quite simply with a positive answer. And the same will happen with Kent. So it's not that difficult to manage as long as you're playing games. But if you're not simming and all that, for a lot of YouTubers, can cause some problems, content creators, or even just in general. If you just want to sim through the calendar, if you're doing just kind of a sim career mode, maybe doing like a youth academy type of career mode, just want to sim a season, you probably need to, at least check in, stop simming every couple of weeks so you can kind of manage player chats and morale. So also player chat has been added, and it's, again, just pretty easy to manage. Give them a positive answer and you'll be fine, because if you don't manage the morale well, you can get fired. You will see that in a second from B-Monus, a wonderful FIFA YouTuber. Also does some Twitch as well. So check him out if you haven't. But again, the player chat, he's content. Just give him a positive answer and you'll get up to happy, even though he's pretty unhappy with his lack of playing time. So that's pretty simple. It's not difficult to manage as long as you're playing every game, like I said before. But if you're not, that is where things can get tricky a little bit, especially if you're just trying to sim the whole season through the calendar, which we'll see transitioning here to a basically screenshot of a tweet from B-Monus. Has anyone figured out how to sim a season and not get sacked? And we'll zoom in on the image. Basically, it's quite blurry. I almost said burly. Blurry here, and basically it has to do with him not properly managing chats along with team morale and player morale. We regret to inform you that the board has decided to remove you from your position as a manager of the club. You didn't handle the situation of players' demands in due time, and our public image has been affected because of it. Wish you the best of luck for the future of your career. So can definitely be quite annoying having to deal with that, I'm sure. And that's basically why I don't do growth tests anymore. Anyone who's watching the video has seen my growth tests. Don't really feel just getting fired for no reason after a year and having to deal with all that. Rather enjoy my time playing the game itself, but I definitely could have some career mode content in the future. So just letting you know, just a little off basis right there for a second. And also, you can get fired if you basically offer a contract that's too high compared to other players. I got fired in one day video. I'll link that in the top right corner. That's basically what happened. I offered Jadon Sancho a really high contract, attempting to do growth tests, trying to keep him happy with a good contract. But apparently that could create unrest in the locker room, and they would like to avoid any issues that may come from this unbalanced wage structure. We regret to inform you that the board has decided to sack you, basically. So I basically got sacked for offering a high contract. But now moving over here to player morale, and as well as how it affects growth. It doesn't seem like it affects growth in a negative way at all, because here's an example of a player who had basically low morale. So the growth is fine. He grew 3 points, but the morale is where the issue lies. Lies. So basically, the tactical ability dropped quite a bit. You can see the ball control in a few areas physically. So the performance will be affected quite a bit positively or negatively depending on their morale. But it's not really going to affect their growth negatively, but it can affect it positively, as you can see in a cutscene video, which will link in the top right corner, which is basically the dynamic potential being summed up. So if they're happy, they're playing quite a bit. Basically, they're happy in all senses. In the status area, you can see basically all the factors being shown. Also here, you can take a look at it. So player performance, team performance, playtime, contract. If they're happy in all those areas, or at least content, they're generally going to be able to grow over the dynamic potential, grow above their listed set potential on FIFA. So that's a good thing. It's a positive addition, of course, to career mode. And I think it's cool that to have the morale definitely affect performance. It's kind of a real life thing that happens just in general in anything, in life. If you're not feeling well, you probably won't perform to your best. So I think it's a nice realistic thing. He also did submit a transfer request due to being unhappy, so I'm sure it could affect his performance also. So nice little feature added for sure, seeing how player morale works in a more positive way, but it definitely can be very buggy, as you guys saw in the screenshots with B-Monis, as well as myself from a previous video that I posted. So this is actually another weird issue that happened with the player and team morale before. So it's the end of the season. We finished second. If you didn't see my first season of Newcastle United career mode, I'm sorry, the game's broken, so we finished second. Team morale is happy. Player morale is happy all along the board, basically. Everyone's very happy. But we go into the new season, and in a second, we'll see that. And basically, that all changes at the start of a new season. So you can see here, squad morale is very low. This is the third day. Haven't even played a single game yet. Have not played a single game yet going into this new season. No preseason game has been played yet or anything. But you will see that where they are angry about is the team performance as well as player performance, some of these players. Yet they have not played a single game. No preseason game has been played at all whatsoever. But they are unhappy about the team performance, despite the fact that we finished second in the previous season, as well as the fact that we won the League Cup in the previous season. So I definitely think this morale can be a bit broken, and I think that is what may affect some other areas of the game, such as some of the issues with basically the first squads not being played. I think you might choose it based on like form and morale, which is basically apparently it's based on form, is what sometimes, as well as the star system, which does lead to some players being benched and stuff like that. So basically on non-human controlled teams is what I'm trying to refer to. So yeah, I think it can definitely be a bit broken when stuff like this is happening. The morale system, there's no reason whatsoever for them being happy. Maybe coming back from international duty or something, but everyone was international duty. I guess they all had a terrible summer or something, had a terrible off season. Nonetheless, didn't really make any sense to see them being so unhappy. My entire club morale-wise, based on things like as team performance. I understand contract, because you're going to a new season, you may want a new contract, but seeing team performance being kind of the big area and reason why they're unhappy made no sense whatsoever. So there's also issues with the simming and tables. Just basically, when you're not playing every game, any non-human controlled game, and even human controlled games obviously have issues with these squads being selected for the opponent. So basically, some weird issues. Crystal Palace only had 27 points on the season. It's just an awful amount of points. I don't think they're that terrible of a club. Then United won. Everton was second. Liverpool fourth. Southampton fifth. Spurs sixth. And of course, City just weren't even there. And Lingard won the Golden Boot. And also an example here from Rich Lee. Wonderful YouTuber. Definitely check him out also. He posted the screenshot on Twitter. Norwich basically won the Premier League. Spurs fourth. Spurs second. United third. Everton fourth. City fifth. And Brighton, Liverpool, Chelsea running out the top 8. Interesting stuff happening for sure. I just noticed it quite a bit. Basically, Liverpool's been dropping off, and then United and Everton have been really good also. And there's also issues here. Again, Rich Lee posting a screenshot. He's really helped expose a lot of the issues here with career mode. So that's only year 2023, the future is looking bleak. The Europa League fails to progress past the playoff round. The Champions League, quite simply, doesn't even get started. Wild times ahead according to FIFA 20 career mode. So 2023 is basically like 3 or 4 seasons into career mode, and you can see here how many teams is that? 2, 4, 6, 2 TBD teams basically. So just it's completely bugged. The playoff round here of the Europa League is bugged, unfortunately. Just kind of unacceptable in my opinion, honestly, especially if you're trying to play Road to Glory career mode. You kind of have to hold off maybe a little bit to make sure it's not completely messed up. Maybe it's just a one-off thing, but something to definitely keep in mind if you're trying to play a longer career mode. You might want to stick to 2 or 3 seasons career modes for now, because that's what 3rd or 4th season 2023, and that's pretty much unacceptable. This is type of stuff that they have testers, quality control, assessment people at game companies for, that unfortunately don't seem to be utilized most likely. But going into a few other things here, doesn't seem like any nations have been added either to the Youth Academy, unfortunately. So not much, if anything, added to the Scouting Network. From what I can remember, I don't think any country has been added. Maybe 1 or 2 in South America and Africa. I can't remember. But still, definitely could have tons of more countries being added. I think would be nice. Obviously, I'm sure there's options on if you're playing on PC to kind of fix that. But still, it's quite frustrating nonetheless. So another issue involving especially people who like to just kind of edit their players, as well as Youth Academy people. You can't edit your player, and it's gonna basically mess with overalls as well as their positions also. So that's something to avoid. You can see here Career Mode Insider with some really good content helping out to show the cases for everyone. Basically, you can see Messi dropping to 37 overall. I think it was Ronaldo dropped to like a 60 something after being edited. Just another unacceptable thing to see added into career mode. It's another thing that could definitely be fixed by having people who really know career mode helping out and testing things out and getting bugs fixed. I mean, there's tons of people that would be useful on YouTube. I'm sure would love to have a job like that, or even just like a part-time thing to help test things out. But unfortunately, we're kind of stuck with things the way they are. Now again, Lingard. I just want to stress it again. Lingard won the Golden Boots in my Newcastle United stream career mode. Very strange. I get that they won the title, but Lingard of all people being the one to lead in goals when he hasn't scored in what forever, like I don't know, it's like 6 months or something, if not longer. Just another weird little tidbit. But again, now we'll move into the gameplay. Gameplay is just something it's just really easy, honestly. I had to switch to Ultimate as soon as possible because Legendary was pretty bad. They're just so indecisive on Ultimate and Legendary. They just really do nothing. Just kind of dribble. They're just so stagnant and slow. I'm sure there's tons of options with sliders and stuff like that. I think the game should play good out the box. Sliders are wonderful, and I know people who do an amazing job with them, but I think the game should be a lot better out the box gameplay-wise. If you also play a two-striker formation, honestly, if you're even on Ultimate, if you're playing a two-striker formation, the opposing defense just goes absolutely nuts. It's basically the same stuff from my demo video. They just get all out of sorts, and of course here the fullback positioning is pretty wild, kind of slow, tracking back against here on the wing. I think in general, if you just get some good fast wingers, if you're struggling somehow to play FIFA 20 career mode, get some pacey wingers or play a two-striker formation, and you'll be fine. You'll definitely be fine. Some weird stuff with goalkeepers also. You can see him basically just watching the ball go in the net. It doesn't seem to be that drastic in real time, but when you watch the replay, he had all the time in the world to make a save, to just make an attempt at the ball right here. Maybe I'm not evaluating this correctly, but it's frustrating to see that. He's just kind of standing there. He got back in time, it looked like, to make an attempt on the ball, but I guess he didn't want to, and this was Legendary. I think I can only remember losing one game on Legendary against Liverpool, where they actually played like Liverpool 3-0. I lost that match. Then everything else on Legendary I won, or a draw, basically. Now moving here to some other highlights also. I actually almost got scored on, but pretty much just play down the wing is what it seems like. Utilize that pace. Once you win the ball, have some pacey wingers, because fullback positioning from the opposition is pretty awful. And they just so slow reacting to any pacey wingers. You can just see me going down the wing with Ryan Kent, who has tons of pace. Just no one really going to him. The center backs are just jogging, and he's running. And now they decide to finally kind of run a little bit back. I really should have scored right here, but I bottled after an awful touch. But still, just shows some of the issues with the gameplay. Defensive AI is honestly horrid. It's terrible and needs a lot to fix, in my opinion. I think the game plays really well online, but offline, it's a bit of a mess, in my opinion. Again, some weird stuff, not reacting, and I just wanted to show this in general. Terrible clearance. I thought the reaction time was really awful. It's kind of handed me a goal, and that just kind of sums up a lot of the issues on Ultimates. They're not playing like Ultimate AI you think would play. I think the big thing, in my opinion, is they've dumbed down the AI basically for foot players, because they complain about, when AI defensively is actually good, and they think, oh, let's make a skill gap by rewarding you by controlling one player and making every player on the pitch stupid. I think that's what went through the mind of EA when instructing the midfield and defensive AI. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me, but it's their choice, I guess. Now, going into some other highlights here, some gameplay, and I just again thought it's pretty simple, straightforward how to play. You can score pretty easily, guys. If you're having trouble, watch these videos, look how I play. I even had to really dumb myself down. I was thinking of times of playing a 2-striker formation, but no. All you have to do down the wing, little 1-2s. The fullbacks are always going to bite on the 1-2, and you're going to have an easy goal like you see right here. And this is really, like I said before, handicapping myself. I could just play down the wing the whole game, and you'd be fine, honestly. Just using that sprint button, little 1-2s, and you'll be good. Because the 4-4-2, 4-1-2-1-2, any type of 2-striker formation really does also put the defense out of sorts. And I wish I've had more gameplay of that to show you how awful it is, but you can check some of my demo gameplay, and it's pretty much the same thing, honestly, for you guys. Just be patient, play it around, and it's pretty simple, Ultimate. As you can see, just easy goal again. It's just pretty frustrating again to see, because there's been Ultimate added, Legendary, but instead of just having the AI be better, it's been kind of dumbed down, and it's really hurting the career mode, in my opinion. I think, again, online it plays well, but offline it's awful. And then throughout a career mode, you will see basically backup sides being played throughout, and this is what I saw. This is not even like a B team. This is like a C team from West Ham, I would say. And this is what you saw for most of the teams. Maybe I played like one strong team the whole time. I think Spurs played me with a pretty full strong squad once, and Liverpool played me with like their front three. But with Arsenal, they were playing like Mkhitaryan, who obviously is in the game. They didn't really update the squads yet, and they had to play with El Neni and stuff like that. So it was very strange to see. It's something that needs to be fixed. Obviously, there's the fix apparently where you can have a second controller, but that's just annoying. You shouldn't have to do that. Now here, an issue again, currently playing career, Newcastle versus Arsenal. Oh, and a Cardiff player in the center circle. Just standing there staring at you. It's pretty kind of creepy in that shot, in all honesty. And another glitch here that just could have been fixed with some basic quality control game testing. Unfortunately, I think now with the state of games, you don't exactly feel like you have to have the game perfect out of the box, because you can have patches and stuff like that, and I think that's really just hurting the quality of games. And for anyone who's played this game early, EA Access, or bought it early on Tuesday, it's unfortunate to see. And if you're considering buying it on Friday, I really think you should think about it, because I think this quote here from Embiid really sums it up. Can we update the rosters? Can we make sure big teams are not relegated playing their sixth team? Update Champions League into the Europa League groups. I only play career mode, so let's make me happy, thanks. Honestly, so if you only play career mode, wait for a price drop, or wait until you know that all the bugs are fixed, all the glitches are fixed. Because it's not worth the $60 or $51, $54 or whatever if you're buying with EA Access. It's not worth that money, in my opinion. I think you need to save your money, wait for a price drop. Basically, near the end of November, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the game could be anywhere from like $30 to $40, $25 to $40. You'll find it for much cheaper by the end of November when all those sales come around. That basically kind of sums up everything. So the features, some of them work. Again, you guys want to see dynamic potential video, watch cutscenes in depth, as it explains it very well, so you guys can check up on that feature, as I just don't want to really explain it when there's a good video that's already out there you guys can check up on. So the morale, I think, is good in some senses, but I think the press conferences and the player chats just make it really easy to up the morale. But it's broken again, like as you guys saw when you go into the new season. So as long with simming and just kind of the contracts and board decisions that'll be made that can get you fired can also just be a really big game killer for everyone. But with that, again, hold off. If you just play career mode, wait for a price drop or until you know all the bugs are fixed. I think if you play online, if you play pro clubs, if you play foot, all that, I think you'll really enjoy the game. I think the game plays very well online. I think it'll play really well, especially for like 11v11 pro clubs. I do think the game mechanics are nice. I think the passing feels a bit more realistic. The shooting isn't terrible. It's just, again, some of the mechanics, the AI along with just basically the lack of testing in all the new features in career mode itself is just what's really affecting the game. So with that, guys, wait if you can. I love you. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll be signing out now. Hit that like button, and I'll catch you guys later.